This program raises questions. This program is for people who find it hard to trust God. The best answers are wrapped in flesh and blood. My friends, people who are enduring real tragedies every single day. Quadriplegia, muscular dystrophy, stroke, bankruptcy, loneliness, singleness. We're going to talk to those very people who have touched my life.
When you think of the Dominican Republic, we see the sun, the beaches, cigars, coffee. We're good on baseball. We have great resources. You would think you are in an environment that is harmless. And then if you come to the city and you go to see how people live, you realize that we're talking about two different countries. We have a nice image as far as tourism is concerned, but then we have a bad image as far as the value of human life. The many people that are worse off economically, esa es su casa. Crime has risen. Aquí. Assault, mugging, kidnapping. We also have a high incidence of drugs in the country. The Dominican Republic is being used as a bridge between Colombia, Venezuela, and the United States. I think I'm going to lock the car. In the Dominican Republic, culturally, faith is a big element. So if I had a disabled child, I would see myself as deserving having the child. And then society would actually blame me for having the child. We see kids that don't have food, medicine, diapers, wheelchairs, clothes. We're talking about basic needs. If you have someone that has a particular disability, because he cannot have therapy, he doesn't have a proper wheelchair, he doesn't have a proper environment, his situation will deteriorate. So they cannot sit down, no pueden sentar?
No.
I see the parents as this doomed feeling. His name is Alfredo. He's Joni's dad. The parents feel that they cannot do anything for their children and that no one cares.
Tu tía vino a verte y te trajo una visita.
She's saying this is a very tough situation, just to see how they live.
They cannot talk, the mom doesn't work, they seem to be going through a tough time, and the mom is kind of down and out.
Estos niños también merecen vivir.
She feels that
Vivir bien.
these children deserve to live, and to live well.
Children in any developing nation have it hard, but add a disability and it's overwhelming. World Bank statistics tell us that 1 in every 10 children in the world is disabled, and 80% of them live in countries like the Dominican Republic. The needs are so desperate, so basic, like the need for pediatric wheelchairs. But when support services are scarce and expensive, a child-sized wheelchair is often only a dream. But friend, we have a chance to fulfill that dream. Together, we can make a difference at a critical point in life that'll affect the destiny of that child. It's what Wheels for the World is all about. With the help of friends like you, we provide desperately needed mobility to boys and girls with disabilities around the world. We give the love of God in a practical way. And just where do these little wheelchairs get their start? How about building from scratch a child-sized wheelchair through the labor and talent of inmates who gladly donate their time? With help like this, these little wheelchairs get off to a great start. Look, here's the Wheels for the World photos right here. Isn't that fun? Wow. Hi. Hello. Hi, Stephen. Good to see you, too. When we go overseas and take wheelchairs, it's always the kids with disabilities who we have to turn away. And the reason is there's just too few kids' wheelchairs. Mi español no es muy bueno, pero este es mi esposo. Y pediatric wheelchairs are a real premium. In the United States, they can cost $15,000, $16,000, $20,000. And so we needed to find a way to manufacture child-sized wheelchairs that would be economical and yet produce a sturdy little wheelchair which would hold up under rugged terrain. And I think we've got it here in the Recency chair.
97.42. Straight.
Well, it starts with a blueprint. It starts with a schematic. It starts with cutting out the wood and cutting out the metal.
This machine here will cut the steel to length.
Okay, that's good for you. Thanks. I'll let you find a place. I get it. Oh my goodness.
And this is for the footrest.
It just goes from there to putting the pieces together and welding, and amazing.
Now upholstery.
There's some correlation.
And putting on the leather backing and the footrest.
This is, you've done this a few times before.
A few times. This is seat bottom and this seat back.
Back.
And then you have your lateral supports and your head support.
From here, it gets shipped to any port where it will be shipped overseas to countries like the Dominican Republic or China or Peru or Poland or Cuba, countries where there is a desperate need for child-sized wheelchairs. If the costs are so astronomical in the United States, you can imagine the costs are skyrocketing in developing nations as well. So from here, these chairs are sent to port where they're shipped overseas, and Christian physical therapists raise their own support to go with us on the Wheels for the World team. They hand fit, perfectly fit each chair to each child.
The thoracics, all adjustable, the heights here, the whole height of the back adjust. This will adjust in and out as his legs get longer. It comes totally adjustable. That was the whole purpose of the Regency chair, so a child could get it maybe at 4 or 5 years old and have it clear till 10, 12, 13 years old.
Coming to visit Levi, she's a lovely kid. She's 12 years old. I think you'll fall in love with her. She has the greatest smile. Beautiful smile, you'll see. Your trip going to where she was probably the darkest trip that I've taken in my life. We passed by a satanic house. It looks like a place where not that many people go to. Roads are really bad, muddy all over the place. We just got in trouble. I know we got over here. We have to pray so we can get out. This is where Judah lives. Hola. This is a palace.
Hola.
¿Cómo está usted? Where sin abounded, grace abounded even more. We found grace. Hola, ¿cómo está? Hola, yo estoy aquí de nuevo. Pero tú eres más linda que la foto. I'm telling her she's more beautiful on the picture. I fell in love with her smile. ¿Podemos salir allá a hablar con ella? We're moving out.
Vamos a salir. Mira cómo ella se mira.
Levi has elephantitis in her 2 feet, so when the mom started to see that something was wrong with the child, she just abandoned Levi, and we found Levi with a great attitude. We found her grandma embracing Levi, and we found a great chance to serve. That's great, man.
Lo que quiere que ella como que se ha acostumbrado con esta.
Yeah, she says that a wheelchair will help her because she has gotten used to this one, so she's not growing or she's just kind of cramped over there all the time now. She has dreams. You know what, Levi, I found out that she was learning to walk. She was taking therapy. She could walk almost, but they ran out of money. So she had to go back to the wheelchair. And worse, the wheelchair was too small for her.
27.
She probably has this wide because that's a small chair that they've been using so far. But it can be, it can be made wider. Right. She was cramped in the wheelchair. She started, her limbs started to get tight.
Se entume más y ella antes caminaba.
Yeah, and I think if we get the right chair with more therapy, she would be able to walk. Only by the grace of God can a smile like that be on her face.
Lejos de tu casa, yo me fui y con tu beso y tu amor. Me regalaste tu perdón, estoy aquí.
We're going to visit Yasmin. Yasmin has muscular dystrophy. Okay. Doblo aquí a la derecha. La número 12 de aquí, ¿cuál es? ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Cómo lo va?
Todo bien, todo bien, todo bien.
Hey. Yasmin she has the most beautiful smile a kid can have. Hola, buenas tardes. Él es Dwayne, mi amigo. ¿Y dónde está Yasmin? Hola, Yasmin, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo te va? Dios te bendiga, chócala.
Como que camine, que yo me puedo comunicar con ella por vía porque ella me hace señas y yo ya la entiendo. Pues son 12 años ya lidiando con ella.
Yasmin is an orphan. Her dad died 5 years ago. So her dream for Yasmin is that someday she might walk or be able to communicate with her, have a flowing relationship.
Ven, bájame este ajo. Bájamelo. Ahí. Claro.
Oh, she's helping mom cook. She was sitting on the floor, and her feet are her hands. So her hands were on the floor all the time. She could hardly write because she was just lying on the floor with all the dirt in the house.
Sácalo.
she can scoot across the floor, but she's not able to get up and walk.
It's a tough neighborhood. We have a lot of gangs over here, no cops. So she has to make sure that Yasmin can have a wheelchair that is functional, but it's not something that is overly, that would call attention to muggers or people that would actually think they can make money out of that.
Baby.
She needs a wheelchair because she spends her time on the floor, which is, presents a particular problem over here because she eats with her feet. So she has to spend time just with her feet on the floor and then take the bread and everything that she puts in her mouth with the same limb.
He's 16. ¿Tú vas a la escuela? ¿Por qué no vas a la escuela?
She's talented. She writes with her right foot.
Oh, qué lindo.
God gave her the ability to paint. Now we know that she has to be able to see nature, to be in touch with God's beauty on earth.
Lindo.
Que se pueda caminar, mover, porque yo le daba terapia y tuve que dejar de darle porque
She tried to help Yasmin to get therapy in the past, but her situation is such that she doesn't have enough means, money to be able to do that. This is a great opportunity for her to use her whole potential.
So a chair would get her out of the home, off the floor. I'm sure her mother doesn't want her on the concrete ground, so a chair would just make her mobile to experience life.
When you see all the people through the eyes of God, we might see her as a victim, but she's having fun. She's enjoying life, and she appreciates what God allows her to do. She can paint. She can eat with her feet. And she has a mom. She has a family. Now she needs a wheelchair, and we know that God will provide that.
Bye, Dios te bendiga. Bye.
Oh, she's fantastic. Didn't you see that? I even got a kiss.
For a child with a disability, a wheelchair needs to arrive at that critical juncture. It may mean the difference between being allowed to go to school or growing up illiterate. The difference between having friends or never venturing beyond the front yard of your house. For a child, a proper fitting wheelchair can even prevent scoliosis or other secondary disabilities.
La bendición de los cielos, Dios. Gracias te damos por ello, Dios. Llévanos en alas de tu santa faz, Señor. Guíanos tú, Señor.
When John heard in prison what Christ was doing, he sent his disciples to ask him, "Are you the one who has come, or should we expect someone else?" Jesus replied, "Go back and report to John what you hear and see. The blind receive sight, the lame walk. Those who have leprosy are cured, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the good news is preached to the poor. Blessed is the man who does not fall away on account of me."
And we know that you have started the good works in the people that are coming over here today. We pray, Lord, that we we may represent you well. Ok, lo que vamos a hacer hoy, tenemos traductores que van a traducir, hay 6 que van a traducir de inglés a español. Ella es Mayra con su mami. Cintia. Esta gente viene y sabe que yo voy a buscar a esta gente. Hola, Yasmin. Y Yasmin me da la mano. Hola, hola, me saluda. Hola. Hey. Beautiful lady is my wife, Cynthia. And we're receiving the kids. She's assigning a number to
We'll have everything fastened in case we need to do some other stuff. Regency chair's been really flexible for us here. And we've been able to use what they call the hip guides to actually keep his arms in and position him a little bit better. They've made a block so that his feet are at like a 90-degree angle and his hips are at a 90-degree angle. That's really nice. That'll prepare him to have a good seated position so that he doesn't get other deformities.
That's what I love about these pediatric wheelchairs. The size is perfect for a child with a disability.
Venga, venga. Whoa, muy bien, excelente.
It's wonderful that we can take these overseas, and about $250 it costs to put together one of these chairs. For a kid-sized wheelchair, that is awesome. A lot of these materials are donated, and of course donated labor. The effort that they pour into these wheelchairs is really out of love. It's really out of care and compassion. It's mainly done out of the generosity of their hearts. Thanks, guys.
Gracias, Charles.
Thank you.
Venga, ¿cuánto tú me cobras por llevarme a la casa? Está bien.
¿Cómo lo llamo?
Ok, no, pero no.
Para manejar. Mirando para atrás, reversa.
Ah, es para mí. ¿Te gusta? When we do things like that, then people realize that God has a plan for them. That is more that God touches our hearts and gives us the chance to actually go and minister to other people. That we walk the talk. That when Christians say that they love each other, that they want to follow Christ, they imitate Christ. Something that they have to take into account is that Yasmin needs mobility in her feet. So it's a challenge because she has to be able to use them. As you know, she can draw, she can eat with them, and she doesn't have that much mobility in her hands. So it's important that she can move them.
Little Jasmine is now off the dirty floor and into an appropriately fitted chair that gives her freedom and mobility.
Okay. Muy bien.
Our team even devised a special tray for Jasmine. Her food is up off the ground, and now she can more easily do her homework.
Yasmin. Me va mirando la gente.
Dios te amo. In the past, she couldn't do that with Yasmin because she would have to carry Yasmin, and Yasmin is growing up, so she's heavy. It's too heavy for a person to carry her an entire block. When we came the first time over here, we found them lying on the bed in a room with very little ventilation. Now they are outside in the backyard. And their mom was telling me that they're getting ready to go out this afternoon, visit the neighbors. So this is nice. Levi was telling us that this is the first time that she's able to go down there to visit the neighbors. They have a relationship, but basically because the neighbors come and visit her. So now that she has an appropriate wheelchair, she can move.
Bien.
Hola.
Buenos días.
Hola, niño.
¿Dónde te vi ayer?
The chair and that, oh, good girl. That's exactly right. She corrected herself just then. That was really good.
Muy bien. Very good.
In this outreach, I saw the greatest smiles that I've seen in my life.
Por la unidad.
I saw kids that had the ability to be surprised. Down the hill. We are the salt of the earth.
Amém.